So what we're going to do here with Brian, we're going to do the excitement phase and developing the focus, working on fetch, reinforcing the sit, beginning home plate, and extending home plate, which is the traffic cop. Oh. So that's what we're going to do. So Kirk, just this is just about, and you can start your back to home plate tonight. You know, you can do it in the living room. You know, it's, so go ahead, Brian, and go out there to do your, just, yeah, right there is fine. All right, as soon as he gets it, good. In your voice, as soon as he gets it, then it goes bumper behind your back. You should always have the collar in your hand, because now you can reinforce the sit command as soon as he's sitting there watching you. See, now he's working on the fetch and the excitement and the sit, reinforcing his sit. Now you can reinforce the fetch command at the same time. Once he's going for it, bang.
Fetch. Sit.
See, what he's got now is a dog that is sitting motionless, staring at him, waiting for the game to start, and focusing on him, and a millisecond later, he's absolutely wild. So he's going from one extreme to the other based on what Brian does, not based on what the dog wants. The dog wants to play the game, and Brian is deciding when that's going to be, and the dog views that as its ultimate reward. So let's we'll start start like a beginner up close, just so we can see what that looks like, and then start backing up using the traffic cop. Integrate excitement, fetch, hold, reinforcing the sit commit, back to home plate, and expand it into traffic cop, all in a sequence.
I'll give it a shot. Good. Sit. Fetch. Good. Sit. In. Sit. 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 Back. Okay, good. Attaboy. Sit. 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 In. Sit. 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 Sit.
See, it sounds a little funny that he keeps saying sit, but he's reinforcing the sit command, reinforcing a command he's already doing. Experienced people don't like to see that. They don't like that part of it. What they want to see is the dog move so they can make a correction. That's what they want.
And when somebody says that, somebody said that to me, why do you say sit so many times? There's the answer, because you're offering reinforcement.
It's reinforcement instead of waiting for a correction. Right. So the best thing is to not be defensive about what you're doing, just saying, that's just the way I do it. That's what I say, that's just the way I do it. You know, because people aren't going to believe you, they're not going to see it, they're not going to understand it, because you need too much background to understand it. See, Brian is throwing and picking it up so the dog isn't on the edge of his chair every time. He doesn't always get to retrieve.
Back.
So you're mixing in the home plate with the traffic
All right,
light.
good.
Right.
Attaboy.
That way you can get some decent marks yourself and work on all these things together without any,
And this can be done right along with reinforcing or fetch.
right, because I have 5 and 6 months old puppies doing all of this exact stuff that you're seeing. Not quite as refined as Brian's dog is, because Brian's dog is 2 years old.
Being
Sit.
filmed or recorded when
Sit.
while
Right.
this is going.
Sit. 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 Sit.
So it's not so much this mark, it's reinforcing the sit in conjunction with the mark, so he doesn't always get a mark.
All right, there you go. Good.
See, now into the excitement, playing the game.
Good. Attaboy. Very good. Sit. 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 Hey.
So Brian is able to control this dog's attitude, what he's thinking, what he's doing, what he's waiting for, what he's hoping for. It's all taking place right now.
Look at me. Watch me. Watch me. Good. Hey. Good.
All right, now back to home plate.
In.
Walk that way. Walk towards that mound and throw a fairly long mark. You can throw the mark towards the stake once you're out that way a little bit.
Sit.
Oh,
Sit.
and is there a nick when he says sit?
Every time he says sit, there's a nick,
Tiny, tiny nip.
a tiny nick. As he gets older and is more developed in this, the nicks are maybe every third or fifth time.
How key is the orange bumpers use?
The, not key, but I usually use, in this it doesn't matter. The farther you get, if it's too far, you almost have to use a white bumper in order for him to see it if you're out at like 100 yards.
Back.
So you can see that you can do a fair amount of dog training just with this one thing in your field close by without another person or a,
A lot of equipment. That's
Attaboy. Good.
the attitude and
Very good.
the attitude that I see, if it's developed right, and you being able to work by yourself, you know, it's incredible.
see, he's out there now.
100 yards.
But but this dog thinks this is all hilarious, you know.
Having fun.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about it. It's not drudgery.
No, there's nothing drudgery about it because you're conditioning the game. The game is anything you want to do in the end because the dog gets developed that way. It starts like sit, sit. It's back and forth, on and off, and it becomes the dominant focus of this dog to play the game. I'll do all these things, but I want to play the game. So, Brian, that was great. Thank you.
Here.
And this is a developed, very developed.
In. Good. Back.
See, Brian is controlling what's happening. Now, if that dog wasn't looking at him, at Brian, he'd say anything and the dog would take off for the mark.
Right.
But because the dog is focused on him, he does what Brian wants, because this dog knows that that's the way he's going to get to play the game. So that's the fetch command, the back to home plate, traffic cop, everything we've learned, it all is going on right now in one lesson.